After putting a lot of time into Granblue Fantasy Relink at various events, I can finally share some more information about the characters in the game. This time I'll be focusing on the unlockable characters, so you can decide which order you want to unlock them. To start off with, we'll be able to play as the captain, but shortly after entering the first town, we'll have the opportunity to customize the party with the starting crew members. These members are Granogita, Catalina, Rackham, Io, Eugen, and Rosetta. To unlock new crew members, you'll need to use an item called a crewmate card. These will be given to you after you reach certain milestones in the main story and after completing specific quests. After receiving these cards, they can be taken to Sierro's Knickknack Shack, and they can be used to unlock additional characters in any order that you wish. So hopefully, this video will help you decide who you want to prioritize and unlock first. There's limited gameplay footage of a lot of the characters, so in this video I won't be able to show you hands-on gameplay for everyone. But what I can do is give you a basic outline of what you should expect from each character's playstyle. But just keep in mind that there is a chance that some of this information could change before or after the game releases, since this outline won't be focusing on the specific ways that the characters can change based on their equipment or the additional moves that can be unlocked through masteries. One of the characters that I'm sure many people want to know about is Ferry, since she was initially revealed back when Relink was first announced back in 2016. Gameplay-wise, Ferry's attacks revolve around the use of her pets, rather than stringing together complex combos or using attacks that require strict timing. While on the ground, Ferry can use a basic 3-hit combo, but each attack in the combo can also be charged by holding down the normal attack button. Landing the final hit of a charged normal attack summons one of Ferry's pets, and certain pets can also be summoned by using specific skills. It's also possible to summon all pets simultaneously if you fill an enemy's stun gauge and perform a link attack. Since I didn't get to see much of Ferry, I'm not sure how much control she has over each individual pet on the battlefield, but after being summoned, her pets seem to attack nearby enemies until they're dismissed or commanded to use another action through skills. In addition to normal attack combos, each character can also use unique attacks, which by default is bound to the triangle button on PlayStation. Some unique attacks can be charged up by holding down the unique attack button, which is what can be done with Ferry. When holding down the unique attack button, Ferry will perform her onslaught attack before dismissing all pets from combat. And because of her passive support skill, Ferry's unique attacks are also enhanced depending on the amount of pets that are on the battlefield. Skill-wise, Ferry can command her pets to use specific attacks or special actions, like being able to summon all pets onto the battlefield for an all-out continuous assault. Certain skills can also be used to debuff enemies or dispel their buffs, but Ferry can also use her skills to give herself powerful buffs and heal nearby allies. Some of these skills also gain additional enhancements depending on the amount of pets that are currently in battle. So Ferry seems to be a good choice for people that want to play as a pet-focused or summoner-style character that can fight from a safer distance, while still being able to use skills that can support the party by debuffing enemies or healing allies. But that's enough about Ferry. The next character we'll be taking a look at is Narmaya. Narmaya is a character that I've analyzed in the past based on developer live streams, but now that I've played as her, I can say that the vast majority of my observations were correct. So let me give you a rundown of what she can do based on official information. Narmaya has a timing-based stance switching playstyle, which gives her access to different skill effects and combos depending on the stance she's in. When using her unique attack, she can switch between the Dawnfly and Free Flutter stances. If the stance switch is perfectly timed at the end of a combo, the combo will be converted into a stance shift combo and seamlessly flow into the other stance, allowing you to continuously loop combos by perfectly switching between stances. While in the Free Flutter stance, Narmaya performs a high-speed combo that can hit enemies multiple times, and while in the Dawnfly stance, her basic combo is much slower, but she gains the ability to use a chargeable zone attack. This zone attack charges slowly when used on its own, but its charge speed can be drastically increased when used directly after the stance shift finisher and certain skills. When hitting an enemy with a combo finisher, a stance shift finisher, or a link attack, Narmaya gains a resource known as butterflies. She can generate multiple butterflies which enhance the effectiveness of her skills depending on the amount she's collected. Skill-wise, Narmaya has a variety of attack-focused abilities that have various effects depending on the amount of butterflies she's collected, like enhancing the amount of damage or hits the skill does. She also has skills that can generate butterflies directly, while also providing additional buffs. But since Narmaya has skills that can be used to parry and counter enemies, she also has other skills that can be used to increase her hostility and make enemies more likely to attack her, which can make playing her more risky than other damage-focused characters when using this skill. But this skill will most likely allow you to reliably predict enemy movements and targeting, so you'll have a better chance of successfully looping your combos. Narmaya will be one of the characters that can be simple to pick up and play, but hard to master. She has a combo-heavy and timing-based playstyle that can be a bit intimidating while trying to learn the rhythm of her attacks. But she's a lot of fun to play once you understand the flow of her combo loops. But now we'll take a closer look at the next character, which is Percival. Percival is a character that was shown as playable back when Relink was first announced, but up until now we haven't really had much insight into how he plays. But now that I've had a chance to spend more time with the game, I finally have a better understanding of what he can do. To start off with, Percival doesn't seem to have a wide range of combo options. Instead, his playstyle seems to revolve around the use of his unique attack. Just like Gran and Zeta, Percival has a chargeable unique attack that can be used at the end of a combo finisher. This unique attack can be charged up to 2 times, and while charging, Percival can't be interrupted by enemy attacks. If this unique attack is used with perfect timing directly after a combo finisher or after certain attack-focused skills, it greatly reduces the charge time of the attack. Skill-wise, Percival has a few buffs that can increase his offensive power, and he can also use skills that inflict certain debuffs on enemies, like petrification and burn, but the majority of his abilities are focused on dealing damage. Some of these attacks allow Percival to thrust towards his target to close the gap, and others are focused on dealing damage within a certain area. Percival's unique attack has a faster charging time after a combo finisher or an attack-focused skill, so it does seem like the general flow of his attacks will be a normal combo into a charged unique attack, which can then be followed up by an attack skill, and then back into a charged unique attack, and so on. Percival seems to be a character for people that want to just focus on dealing continuous close-range damage. He doesn't seem to have much versatility, but since he doesn't have many mechanics to worry about, outside of timing follow-up attacks, he seems like a character that would be really straightforward to just pick up and play. But the next character that I'll be showing is Yodarha. Yodarha is another character that I went over in a previous breakdown video, and a lot of my predictions about his playstyle turned out to be pretty accurate. But now that we have more information about how he plays, I can fill in some of the missing gaps. Yodarha has a deceptively simple combo on the surface, but his playstyle is all about keeping up a combo loop that increases in speed the longer you keep it going. Along with keeping the combo loop going, he'll also generate a resource known as triple shroud marks, which can be used to enhance his skills. Yodarha has one basic combo when on the ground and in mid-air, and he can also counterattack enemies when holding down and releasing the unique attack button just before an enemy's attack hits. Instead of this combo ending on the combo finisher, the same combo can be chained into another combo by using a normal attack just as the combo finisher connects. And these follow-up combos get shorter each time they're looped, which reduces the amount of time it takes to perform combo finishes and more combo loops. Landing a combo finisher increases Yodarha's triple shroud marks, which heavily influence the effectiveness of his skills depending on the amount he's gained. The majority of his skills are attack focused, and they can be weaved into his combo loops to keep the flow going. For example, one of his skills is a cyclone of slashes that can have an extended activation time based on the amount of triple shroud marks he has. Or a skill that requires perfectly timing the inputs to dash around the battlefield while hitting enemies up to 13 times, with the power of these attacks increasing based on the amount of triple shroud marks Yodarha has. He also has supportive skills, like one that gives all party members mirror images so they can avoid enemy attacks, or another that can instantly reset all of Yodarha's other skills when activated with full triple shroud marks. Playing as Yodarha is like playing a rhythm game that's constantly increasing in speed. Based on what was shown in an earlier demonstration, you can create your own custom combos by weaving skills into his combo loops. So just like Narmaya, he seems to have a playstyle that rewards your focus and attention. The next character that I'll be showing you is Zeta. Zeta is one of the more recently announced characters that was revealed earlier in the year. She's another character that has a combo loop playstyle, but these loops take place in mid-air rather than on the ground like similar characters. Zeta's playstyle revolves around using high jumps and follow-up attacks to continuously deal damage to enemies. Her basic combos can be started on the ground, but it's the looping combos that are performed after a high jump that seem to be Zeta's main focus. On the final hit of her combo, or after using her unique counter attack, Zeta will perform a high jump. After using this specific jump, she can use an aerial looping combo by perfectly timing follow-up attacks, and each time this combo is looped, her attack increases. The aerial combo loop can be ended by performing a loop finisher on the enemy, and due to one of Zeta's passive skills, if you perform a loop finisher on an enemy after performing a combo loop 3 times in a row, Zeta will inflict the Arves Famare status effect on them. Zeta also has certain skills that inflict this status effect, but I didn't get a chance to check exactly what this status does in Relink. If it's anything like the original game, I assume it will increase the effectiveness of certain skills and attacks that Zeta uses against the enemy inflicted with it. Zeta has a variety of skills, but they're mainly used to deal damage to enemies. She can use a few offensive focused buffs and some debuffs like paralysis and attack down, but she can also dispel one buff from enemies caught within the blast radius of one of her skills. Some of her skills also launch her into a high jump, so she can go directly into using her combo loop again. So it seems like Zeta will be a character that will still be able to attack enemies even when there are low sweeping attacks or hazards located on the ground that other characters would usually need to avoid. So she will be most suited to people that enjoy characters that are effective in aerial combat. The next character that I'll be showing is Siegfried. Siegfried is one of the characters that I've spent the most time with while playing. His attacks may be slower than some of the other melee-focused characters due to his greatsword, but each of his attacks can be very powerful. Siegfried doesn't have a wide range of combos or combo finishes like other characters. Instead, his main appeal is the fact that his combo can be enhanced if you perfectly time each hit. He has a basic 5-hit normal attack combo, but rather than constantly tapping the attack button, if you perfectly time the inputs, his combo will branch into an enhanced version. There's no clear indicators to show you the perfect time to use an attack, outside of paying attention to his animations and eventually training your muscle memory to learn the input timings. But when you do get the timing right, Siegfried will glow red and his animations will gradually become more impactful the further you get into the enhanced combo. It's also possible to use Siegfried's unique attack in between each combo hit. And this unique attack lunges towards enemies and stops Siegfried's combo from being interrupted by enemies when they attack. So there's a way for him to continuously deal damage to enemies without needing to evade minor attacks. Skill-wise, Siegfried has a few attack-focused abilities. Some can be used to send shockwaves towards distant enemies, and another can be used to leap towards distant enemies to close the gap. He also has a lot of defensive buffs that can be used to support the party, along with other skills that can be used to counterattack enemies or enhance his perfectly timed attacks. Siegfried is a very straightforward but powerful character that rewards people for their careful timing. It won't always be easy to perfectly time your combos, but you're not heavily punished for failing. Instead, you're encouraged to succeed since you'll benefit from the high damage potential of his attacks. The next character that I'll be going over is Vaseraga. Vaseraga was announced at the same time as Zeta, and he seems to have a bit of a risk-reward playstyle, which makes use of his health as a resource. Surprisingly, he has more default combo branches than a lot of the other characters in the game, but each of these branches lead towards charging his unique attack, which seems to be the main focus of his playstyle. Vaseraga is one of the few characters that charge a resource gauge after using specific actions during combat. All of his ground-based combos end with 2 charged unique attack combo finishes, and each time these combo finishes hit an enemy, Vaseraga's Grindoth gauge increases. This gauge has multiple levels, and as the level increases, Vaseraga gains various defensive and offensive buffs. But it's not just the basic combos that can be linked into chargeable combo finishes. Vaseraga also has skills that can be changed directly into his charged unique attack. It does feel like you need to be more cautious of your skill choices with Vaseraga compared to some of the other characters, since some of them are risky to use. He has a few skills that provide powerful buffs, but using them will consume a large portion of his health. He does have a few skills that can be used to drain health from enemies if things become too risky, but this might not always work in your favor, since one of the skills that consumes his health also provides a buff that increases his damage output the lower his health is. Vaseraga can also taunt enemies and even use skills that take all damage in place of allies before unleashing an explosive counterattack based on the amount of damage endured while charging. Vaseraga is a character that isn't afraid to put himself in harm's way for the sake of others, and is known to be very resilient, which is something they've done a good job of highlighting in his playstyle. So he's a character that would be a good pick for someone that wants to fulfill the role of a more offensive focused tank. The next character that I'll be talking about is Lancelot. Lancelot is a character that I've covered in previous breakdown videos, and he's someone that I've spent a decent amount of time playing at past events. He's a character that doesn't have a wide range of combos, but he makes up for it by being able to consistently keep pressure on enemies with a constant barrage of attacks. His basic combo starts off fairly normal, but it eventually leads into a chain of rapid slashes. The main goal with Lancelot is to constantly keep these rapid attacks going for as long as possible, since continuously slashing will eventually encase his blades in ice, which increases the amount of damage he does. These rapid slashes can then be followed up with a finishing attack if the combo needs to end. Lancelot's unique attack, Twin Blade Dance, can be used to dodge in various directions mid-combo. If you manage to perfectly time this dodge, you can continue a combo straight after dodging. So there's a way for you to continuously attack enemies if you're able to consistently evade attacks with perfect timing. Skill-wise, Lancelot has a lot of attack-focused skills that link directly back into his normal attack combo, helping him to reduce his downtime. He also has ranged attacks and gap closes, and other skills that can support the party by freezing enemies in place or redistributing his skybound arc gauge to other party members. Lancelot doesn't have a wide range of combos, instead the goal in playing him is to never stop attacking. Even his evade is also an attack, so if you can practice perfectly timing his dodges, you'll still be able to deal damage to enemies in situations when most other characters would need to stop attacking and move to safety. But the next character that I'll be explaining is Vane. Just like all the other Dragon Knights, Vane is another character that was announced fairly early into Relink's development. But now that more information about him is available, I can give you a better idea of what you should expect from his playstyle. Vane is another character that can charge a gauge during combat and then consume it to make use of special actions. He can perform various branching combos that begin with a few normal attacks and then lead into a combination of unique attacks. On certain hits of a combo, or after hitting an enemy with a combo finisher, Vane's beatdown gauge will charge. The beatdown gauge can be consumed to perform a powerful beatdown combo by repeatedly using his unique attack. Vane's unique attack can also be used to block enemy attacks when used with perfect timing, which allows him to continue attacking without interruption. Skill-wise, Vane can use a variety of defensive and self-healing abilities to sustain himself throughout battles, like being able to create an invincibility barrier that can protect nearby party members, or being able to fully restore his health and remove all of his debuffs if his health drops to critical levels. And as expected, he can also use tank-focused abilities that can taunt, or even use multi-hit attacks that pull enemies towards himself. Vane has a straightforward playstyle that seems to have minimal risks. There's a focus on charging up and then consuming his beatdown gauge to continuously deal damage to enemies, while keeping his party safe from enemy attacks. Based on what's already been shown in the endgame footage, it looks like Vane will be a strong pick for certain endgame raids due to his defensive abilities. But the next character I'll be talking about is someone else that has an aggressive playstyle, but still has access to defensive abilities, and that's Charlotta. Charlotta is a highly mobile character that has a similar playstyle to Lancelot, but instead of having an emphasis on evasion, Charlotta focuses more on defense. Just like Lancelot, Charlotta's basic combo also leads into a series of rapid slashes that can be followed up with a combo finisher. But one of the things that sets Charlotta apart from Lancelot is the fact that her combo finishers can be chained into various follow-up attacks. Using Charlotta's finishing attack or unique attack activates a high jump that can be followed up with a gap-closing lunge attack or a downward dive attack depending on the input used. High jumps can also be used as a defensive action, since perfectly timing a high jump will block an enemy's attack and allow Charlotta to continue attacking without interruption. Using Charlotta's rapid slash combo provides her with other benefits too. This combo activates Charlotta's passive skill, Noble Stance, which causes her sword to glow and enhances her attacks. This passive can also be activated when using link attacks or by activating skills. When it comes to skills, Charlotta has a mix of attacks and defensive abilities. One of her attack skills is a series of continuous slashes that can be extended depending on how long you hold the skill. She also has skills that can attack distant enemies and others that can help you get closer to enemies that are out of range. But when it comes to defensive skills, she is able to parry and counter enemies, grant damage reduction buffs to party members, or even activate temporary invincibility. Charlotta is a character that can keep pressure on enemies with constant attacks, while still being highly mobile and evasive. Being able to rapidly deal damage to enemies most likely means that Charlotta's skybound art gauge charges faster than other party members, so she also has a skill that can redistribute her gauge to other allies, which will most likely make her a strong pick in skybound art focused teams. And the final character that I'll be showing you all today is Ghandagoza. Ghandagoza was a bit of a surprise announcement for me, since he wasn't someone that I thought Cygames would include in Relink's roster. But I'm glad they did, since I was hoping they would add more martial arts focused characters into the game. Just like Siegfried, Ghandagoza's main combo is pretty basic to start off with, but this combo has an enhanced version if each attack is used with perfect timing. But the thing that sets this combo apart from Siegfried is that the combo finisher generates a resource called Eternal Rage if it hits an enemy. Eternal Rage can also be generated by performing link attacks on enemies, and as Ghandagoza continues to gain more Eternal Rage, it increases the charging speed and damage of his unique attack, Raging Fist. From what's been shown, Raging Fist is a powerful burst attack that can deal a large amount of damage to enemies in a single hit. When it comes to Ghandagoza's skills, they can be used to perform additional damage dealing attacks or provide a few useful offensive buffs. Based on what I've seen, Ghandagoza might be able to fulfill the role of a counter-attack tank, depending on the cooldown of certain skills and his build. He can increase his hostility to make enemies more likely to attack him, restore his own health, and use skills that can increase the amount of damage he does as his health decreases. Since his Eternal Rage charges through link attacks too, Ghandagoza may be a character that makes use of Perfect Guard more than Perfect Dodge. Perfect Guards can reduce the damage from attacks, but it can also knock enemies off balance and rapidly charge their stun gauge, which leads to more link attacks. This will help to charge his Eternal Rage and create opportunities that can benefit the whole party. These are all of the currently announced unlockable characters in Relink so far, but if they announce any new characters, I'll create separate follow-up videos about them. I'll put a link to my Granblue Fantasy Relink playlist in the description, so you'll always be able to stay up to date with all of the latest character information. Granblue Fest 2023 will be taking place soon, so I'll have a lot more to share with you soon. So remember to subscribe if you want to be the first to know when a new video is available. I'll be making some new videos very soon, but in the meantime, here's another that you might find interesting.